Okay, so this is not technically a surprise because obviously I know when our tourist visas expire. So I've been talking to Barbie the entire time just to make sure that everything's okay. But right now, COVID being the weird thing that it is, basically every month, sometimes week by week, we were just keeping track of what the current status is. So as of October, early November, the word was that we could not renew or extend our tourist visas until it was actually expired. So when it finally expired, I contacted Barbie to see, hey, what do I need to do? And like I said, rules are constantly changing. So as of right now, technically, Merida, Mexico does not allow anybody to renew or rather extend their tourist visas. However, some states are allowing it. So instead, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a really last minute trip back to the States, might as well visit home, stay there for a little bit, and then come back here just in time for Christmas. So the first thing I did was, of course, make sure that I had plane tickets that I could afford. But in order to be cost effective, we're only gonna take one carry-on and one checked bag between the two of us. And life being what it is, taking the dog with us is not going to be a thing. So we need to find somebody who can watch the dog. There's no flights out of Merida, which also makes the dog thing difficult. Anyway, we have to get an ADO bus from here to Cancun in order to make this happen. It's a really cool day in December, so everything I need to do today is in Centro, and my next task is to return the library books that I've had for 2 months. The library is already closed, but I'm almost positive they have one of those slots where I can just shove the books in, and then I will message them later to figure out how much I owe. Hopefully not too long. I don't know, it's 6 books for 2 months. That's how long I've had them. And street signs, similar to Europe actually, tend to not be on a pole. They're rather on buildings. So if you don't know that, sometimes it can be a minute to figure out what street you're on. Once you realize that pretty much every street really is labeled, but they're just, you gotta know where to look. Here's an example. I'm on Calle 49 and I need to make a left at Calle 64. So that's where the street signs are. Hola, the Spanish Immersion School. I think they're still open. And then right next to it is where we waited for the bus. But right now we just need to pay for our tickets. Okay, that was super easy. I pre-staged. I used Google Translate to say, you know, I would like 2 tickets, 1 adult, 1 child for the date and the time. Always add por favor, right? And they read it and they do it. And I will say, Alex and I talk about this all the time. We are so enabled here because he absolutely understood English and I may never learn Spanish. Both of our tickets, one way, cost less than $35 US to make it happen. Pretty simple. The only other thing we're gonna have to pay for is the taxi, or if I can find the bus from where the ADO bus ends in Cancun to the actual airport. We need to eat more tacos. And we need to clean the entire house so that when we come back from the States, we don't have a gigantic, smelly house to deal with. We found the dog sitter. Now I have to buy more dog food, and I need to create a list of how to take care of the dog while we're gone to make everything easy for her. And of course, Henry chooses now to get an ear infection, which has caused him to really scratch at his ear, even to the point where it is bleeding. Thank goodness for my hostess. She helped me take Henry to her vet, who took care of everything. Like, love her. Okay, so I'm going to the ATM really quickly to get about 2,000 pesos, $100, just in case. I've already got maybe $50. I've got like a little over 1,000 pesos already, so this will bring us to 150. I don't like to carry a lot of cash when I travel, and the cool thing about the US is I'm not gonna get any cash the entire time because everything in the US goes on my card. Quick note about getting money out of the ATM. Towards the end, right before they give you the money, they will ask you if you want to accept their conversion rate. Always, always, always say no. Decline, decline. Declining the conversion rate does not affect anything. It just means that you're gonna get your cash and then you're gonna get the conversion rate that your bank does. Pretty much every US bank is gonna give you the best possible rate for that day as opposed to the rate that the ATMs here in Mexico give you. So never accept the conversion amount via the ATM. Always decline and let your bank do the conversion rate for you. So the only things that are going inside my checked luggage are the gifts. The sole purpose of the carry-on is to hold the gifts. Then in these cute little bags, we're going to be holding our travel pillows and carrying, of course, jackets because the US is definitely going to be colder than Merida. I did buy some chocolates and those are going to go into my carry-on as well as, of course, passports, medication. I always carry 2 wallets, toilet paper, even though airports are generally very reliable for that, and just a rag because you never know. Shove that in the bag. My laptop, all of the cables and accessories that I use, and any makeup, etc. And boom, we're done. Yep, we're not bringing a stitch of clothing except what is already on our backs. So I hope you found that helpful. These are the general things that I always deal with when I am traveling somewhere. And even though this was a really last minute decision, for the most part, it really wasn't stressful. It was just making sure I accomplish all the things I need to accomplish and enjoy as many tacos as I can before I get back to the US. Although there are lots of things that we are excited to do while we're in the US. More on that later. The most stressful part of this whole thing is making sure that Henry is actually okay and that he's on the road to recovery before we just leave him. Let me know if there's anything you think I've missed or if you've got any questions about the things that I chose to do for this trip.